Everything is getting all set up. Just a couple moments. Hope everyone's doing well so far. Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So, perfect. And with that, we should be all good to go. Perfect. Oop. Just one moment while I pull up the correct PowerPoint. On Zoom, you can see this entire process. Right. And away we go. Thank you all very much for joining me for this moment of mindfulness. We do them 3 times a day, 9 a.m., 12:30, and 7:30 at night. And it's just a moment, we just take a moment to kind of become grounded and kind of find ourselves within the chaos of our day-to-day living. So hello, my name is Dan, and thank you so much for being here. Each class or session consists of about a 30-minute session. First is about an introduction and review from yesterday. Then it is a brief topic of discussion, and then a 10 to 15-minute guided meditation, followed by a Zen koan, which is a riddle, which will then be discussed at the beginning of next class. So let's go ahead and get started with our opening ceremonies. Oh, see, you can't see the thing right now, can you? Just one moment, and we'll get you on the right PowerPoint, eh? Beautiful. Alrighty. So now let's briefly discuss our intentions. So at the beginning of every practice, we set intentions, which is a dedication to the practice. We're putting purpose to our practice. So go ahead and set the intention with a deep breath in and a long breath out. Lovely. And I like to begin each class with this valuable reminder that the real meditation is how you live your life. So this is a quote by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and I'm going to discuss that even a little bit more in this greeting wisdom. So to review our koan from yesterday, when asked why he practiced Zen, the student says, "Because I intend to become a Buddha." His teacher picked up a brick and started polishing it. The student asked, "What are you doing?" The teacher replied, "I'm trying to make a mirror." "How can you make a mirror from polishing a brick?" "How can you become a Buddha?" "By doing Zazen, which is sitting meditation." If you understand sitting Zen, then you will know that Zen is not about sitting or lying down. If you want to learn Buddha, and you know sitting Buddha, then you know it without any fixed form. Do not use discrimination in the non-abiding Dharma. If you practice sitting Buddha, you must kill Buddha. If you are attached to sitting form, you are not yet mastering the essential principle. The student heard this admonition and felt he had tasted the sweet nectar. Hello, Catherine. So briefly, I just wanted to kind of talk about what this koan means for me. And I think it's a really important one, and it's kind of gets the essence of why I include that Jon Kabat-Zinn quote at the beginning of every class. And it's because I believe sitting meditation is something very, very important, and it's something I recommend everyone do on a daily-ish practice. And if you want to know what I mean by daily-ish, we can certainly discuss that in another discussion, but I got that from 10% Happier by Dan Harris. So we're trying to establish a daily-ish practice of meditation. But it's more than that, right? We don't want to attach to anything in life, including the practice of meditation. So we might even attach to the style of meditation, or the time in which we do the meditation, or the location, saying we have our little safe space. And all of those perceived lacks of having any of those things can actually cause suffering. So our goal here is to bring the meditative mindset to everything we do. It's the unconditional acceptance of what is now and seeing life as it truly is. That's the aims of meditation and mindfulness, and any fixation on a form must be killed or let go. Lovely. And now, and like I always say, every koan is up to a personal interpretation. I would love for anyone to share their own interpretations of what that koan meant for them. And now to review our working definition of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a combination of awareness, equanimity, and concentration. Awareness is the recognition of existence. I am and I know I am. Equanimity is unconditional acceptance of now, so that's things like non-judgment, non-reactivity. And concentration is the intention to keep in the mind's attention the cultivation of awareness and equanimity. Hey Tanvir, thank you for tuning in, really appreciate it. So now we are going to get into the nerve of meditation, so the topic of discussion for today. Specifically, I want to talk about first the vagus nerve. So you may be familiar with the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. It has a right and a left, and that's a visual representation of it right there. It's called the vagus nerve because it's the vagrant, and it wanders throughout all the organs in the body. It's actually very unique to that. When people say the trust your gut feeling, oftentimes they're referring to the vagus nerve. And it is the quote-unquote queen of the parasympathetic nervous system, which to remind is the rest and digest. The vagus nerve is unique to mammals. It coordinates the oxytocin networks and as well as stronger immune system and inflammation response. One of the things that's really unique about the vagus nerve is it communicates upstream. So a lot of nerves communicate from the brain down to your muscles, your organs. This actually communicates upstreams as well, as I say right there. One thing that they found, research supports that breathing slower stimulates the vagus nerve, and we want to stimulate the vagus nerve. We want to stimulate it because that's what sends calming responses. So they found that vagal responsibility, or the vagus nerve's responses, were strongest during the exhale. And they found furthermore that having the breathing pattern of 5 in and 5 out stimulates the vagus nerve to the greatest extent. And what they found is that Buddhist monks and other meditators almost naturally kind of settled into this rhythm of 5 in and 5 out. They also wanted to figure out other things that stimulated the vagus nerve, so things like laughing, singing, humming, yoga, acupuncture, and splashing the face with cold water all would also stimulate the vagus nerve. So next I want to talk about the brain activity during meditation. So this is kind of a bio-heavy class. Something that's very important is that positive and negative emotions have different brain activities, and that's really important. What we can also find is that the external environment does very little to change your brain chemistry. And I'm not saying, it does nothing. So things like traumatic brain injury or traumatic event, those can certainly alter your internal landscape. However, what has been found is that if you want to change your brain, changing it from the inside out is far more effective than trying to change it from the outside in, right? So by starting with your whys and then your hows and then figuring out your whats and all that kind of stuff later, that's going to be far more effective. When we're meditating, we're kind of varying two particular forms of brain waves. The first one is the attention, which is a very fast gamma waves. So those are going to be the things that the waves that you're using right now to read this text, right? Those are the focused and attention waves. And then there's the open waves, the theta waves, and those are going to be things like your sense of space in the room around you, perhaps any subconscious sounds, maybe internal feelings. All those kind of things are going to be open awareness and theta waves. So when we're meditating, what we're doing largely is we're altering these two brain waves. We're increasing one, decreasing another, increasing one, decreasing another, increasing both, decreasing or decreasing both. That's a lot of the neural activity of brain waves. Now, briefly, I just want to talk about the brain regions that is most affected from meditation. The posterior cingulate is one of the main ones, which is responsible for thinking about ourselves, mind wandering, the past and the future, judging others, social situations, all that kind of stuff. So the posterior cingulate gets down-regulated during meditation because we're not spending as much time thinking about ourselves. The frontal lobe, and also, stress activates the amygdala. The amygdala is also, again, down-regulated during this time, particularly the right side for men, left side for women. The prefrontal cortex and frontal lobe, this is a highly evolved part of the brain responsible for reasoning, planning, emotions, conscious awareness, and all that kind of stuff. It goes nearly offline. The parietal lobe, which is responsible for sensory information such as the surrounding world and orientation in time and space. During meditation, unsurprisingly, this also gets turned down. The parietal lobe is often said to contain the sense of self, which is further turned down. The thalamus, which is the gatekeeper of the senses, also has organs, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't get turned down, but it gets turned into almost like a trickle, and reduces that flow significantly. And again, thalamus may be one of the major seeds of consciousness because it's such a it sends directions and sends information in so many different directions. And then last is the reticular formation, which is the brain century. It's in our brain stem. It's one of the oldest structures, and it receives stimuli about alert and danger and all that kind of stuff. So again, that's kind of turned it down. So meditation is like putting on glasses so we can see the world more clearly, right? It's taking all of the noise and chaos and almost putting on a more clear lens so that we can begin to see things a little bit closer to how they may already be. And last, I just wanted to talk about neuroplasticity, which is more of a common topic of discussion. If this was maybe 5-10 years ago, I'd be breaking new grounds. But it's just this concept that our repeated exposures shape our brain. And that's almost intuitive, but now we have the science to back it up. Another way to say that is what we practice becomes stronger. About 47% of the day is spent in daydreaming or caught-up experience. That is one of the most conservative estimates I've found. 47% is one of the lower ends. A lot of evidence to support that we spend the majority of our days spent daydreaming or caught up in this experience. And this creates what's called the default mode network, which is a pattern of our brain that our brain just defaults to. And, for probably 99% of everything, it gets things done. But what happens is when we start to experience new stimuli or new events and previous responses or reactions or patterns no longer serve us, we kind of run into this dissonance. And so then we have to start to establish new patterns outside of our default mode network. What's been found is that 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation can increase brain matter in 5 regions of the brain, some very, very important ones too. And in fact, it can even turn down brain regions as well. So things like the amygdala, which are like a highly emotional responses, we'll see decreases in brain matter in that area as well. I think a really, really great way just to kind of summarize this point is that your brain is a river and not a rock. I think oftentimes when we think of the brain, we think of it as this fixed object with neurons that maybe come back and maybe don't, and it has like a set nature. But that's not really what it's like. It's kind of like a river where it's never at one moment the exact same thing it's ever been before. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. There's other things feeding into it. It's feeding out to other things. So I think it's much more apt to view the brain as a river than a rock. So now it is time to get into our guided meditation. Just one moment, I'm gonna hopefully pull up a little music to go in the background as well. And I'm just turning down the volume so it's not too loud. Good. Today, we will be doing a body scan. So let's begin by taking a comfortable position and allowing our body to settle into a comfortable position. You may close your eyes or keep them slightly open, allowing the spine to lift. Allow the shoulders to soften. Today we will be practicing a body scan. Taking a full, deep breath in and a long, deep breath out. Bringing attention to your body. Notice the feeling of the weight of your body on the chair, or the floor, wherever you are. And as you do, breathe and notice how your chest and abdomen expand, allowing your air to enter your lungs with a full expansion. What sensations are you aware of? And as you exhale, bring awareness to the stillness and notice the sense of relaxing more deeply. Good. Now bring attention to the top of your head, noticing any sensations of the scalp. And slowly moving down the back of the head, to the sides, to the face, noticing the jaw. If you're holding any tension in the jaw, just let your face be soft. Relax the muscles around your eyes and your mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. And now notice your neck and your throat, and let them be soft too. Notice your shoulders and your arms. Feel any sensations and allow your tensions to move from your shoulders down your upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, hands, and fingers. Noticing any tightness or temperature sensation. Noticing what the fabric of your clothing feels like against your skin. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out. Now, bring attention to your chest and abdomen. Feel the movement inside your chest as you breathe. And bringing attention to your stomach. Noticing if your stomach is tense or tight. And just letting it soften. Noticing the upper back and lower back. If you're holding any tension there, also letting that release. Now, continuing to travel down your legs, your thighs, your knees, calves and shins, your ankles, and finally bringing your attention all the way to your feet. Noticing the sensations of your feet. Feeling them against the floor. Noticing any weight, any temperature, any sense of energy that is perhaps present in the feet. Continuing to simply focus on the sensations of the body. And as best we can, continuing to remain aware of our body. We gently expand that awareness, the totality of our body once again, tuning into any sensations, any feelings, any tensions that may still be lingering, letting them go. Noticing how simply bringing awareness to our conditions causes change. There is nothing we have to do. All we have to do is be. And slowly and comfortably, expanding awareness from your body and breath to the surroundings around you, the rooms, the environment, awareness of the day as a whole. Taking a long, full deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Thank you. And finally, thank you all for participating in that body scan. So the body scans are kind of a cornerstone of mindfulness practice as well as many other forms of meditation. It's a very good skill to kind of have in your back pocket, tuning into the body from head to toe, and it can be done. That was about 10 minutes. It can be done in 2 seconds. It can be done in an hour, whatever works best for you. I like to kind of coordinate it with a smile too, so I try to scan my body while smiling at my body as I do so. I think that's a powerful practice as well. So lovely. Now it is time for us to get into our parting wisdom. And this is a Zen koan. It's called Joshu's Mu. It's a nice short one. A monk asked Joshu, a wise Zen master, has a dog the Buddha nature? Joshu answered, Mu, which in many translates to no. We will discuss that tomorrow. Very fascinating. Lovely. So thank you all so much for tuning in. It was an honor and pleasure having you with me here today. I thank you all so much for taking the time whenever you can just to be a little bit more mindful in any moment. I wish you all the best, much love, and best ventures until next time. Thank you.